Why are we holding them at fault for using their all-time great running back?
That was the only reason why they were winning is because that all-time quarterback or running back.
That's why he's there.
To put a band-aid on Hurts
Come
when
on.
Hurts ain't bro, Connor, how many balls did you see hit the floor before it got to the receiver?
It was bad, dude. It wasn't that he didn't need to throw; he just couldn't complete the passes.
Thank you. Welcome to a very special Wildcard Weekend episode of Hits and Hoops. I'm Tyler, as always, and I'm here with my pick and roll partner, Dixon. What's good, Chicho?
Yo, yo, what's good?
Like George Costanza said, worlds are colliding. I say that because we have two guests. Yes, two special guests today. Connor, what's going on, my boy?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here once again on the show. Ready to talk some ball.
Can't wait. And also, James, what's going on, my man?
Not much heavy heart today, but you know what? I had to show up for the guys.
Nah, I hear you, man. Today we're gonna dig deep into the recap of the Jets and Dolphins 2024 season. Ours are have come to an end. We also are going to hit every game of the past weekend, and then lastly, we're gonna jump back into deeper than sports. We haven't brought that up in a hot minute. But before we get into all that, make sure you'll like, subscribe, comment, share on IG, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple.
R.I.P. TikTok.
Yeah, y'all think that's really gonna go?
No, that's going.
Yeah. Without further
Tragically.
ado, let's recap our Miami Dolphins, Dixon. Our 2024 Miami Dolphins. We finished at 8-9. Obviously, we didn't make the playoffs, but I mean, I'll let you go first because just go shoot without looking at.
I mean, my expectations weren't as high this year. I would say I think the previous 2 years were better windows for us. But at this point, I'm starting to lose faith in terms of like Super Bowl window or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure out how we can move ahead from whatever phase this is. I think Tyreek Hill leaving would be actually somewhat good in terms of locker room, in terms of changing the whole dynamic. But looking back at the season, I mean, it was a failure. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
can't call it nothing else. Tua once again wasn't there. Like, just magically always gets an injury around game 15, 16, pivotal playoff game. So nothing new there. Looking ahead, it's just a whole different thing. I think gotta think quarterback second round or something. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we can make a whole hour episode on this, but for your guys' sake, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just gonna put this out there like, okay, what happened, right? Number one, to his health. We know that. He missed 6 games. We went 1-5 in those games. We should have won three of them if we
Should
had
have had
held.
an adequate backup quarterback to
Yeah,
begin
that
with.
was one of the biggest problems. They put too much faith in Skylar Thompson.
We didn't have a
And
Cooper Rush. We didn't have a Sam Darnold. Nothing like that.
well, that leads me to something else. That's the other problem. Mike McDaniel's like whole livelihood is based so much around Tua because if Tua's not there, it's not the same at all. Tua has very specific elite traits. He's not an elite quarterback, he has elite traits. So once he's out of that, the quarterback that's put back in there is not going to have those elite traits because he has a very rare thing in the league with quarterbacks.
So
That's a
he
whole other
tailored
story.
the offense too much to
Everything's
Tua.
around Tua. It's almost like as we saw it. We had two different quarterbacks in this year, and they both couldn't handle it. Which is not it's not technically their fault. More Skyler than Huntley, obviously. So two is one of the reasons. The lack of depth in the O line and D line was undefensible. Also, the GM going into the season with arrogance that he didn't address them properly was a huge deal, and it came into fruition. We lost
Whatever
three.
happened with that rookie? I didn't hear his name one time all year. The first round pick on the
Chop
D line.
Robinson, best. He was our best defense, best D line.
Yeah.
He had almost the most amount of hurries that I would say his name wrong. Michael Parsons had. So he was effective. He was, I think, our second sack leader of the team behind Sealer. But when 3 of our 5 offensive linemen went out, run game disappeared. We could not run the ball. We went from top 5 to bottom 5. If you can't run the ball, you better have fucking Tom Brady back there. You better have just an old school gunslinger. That's not what Tua is. Our offense is predicated around the run. When there's no run, we're predictable.
And I told you we went too A chain heavy. Like
Way too A-chain heavy.
Mostert can't go from being a top 5 running back to not getting the ball 70% of the season. Like I
Way
don't
too
get
heavy.
that.
Way too heavy. Not getting Reek the ball. How the fuck don't we get Tyreek the ball more? I didn't understand that. I know they tried later on. One of the positives was the defense being a top 10 defense, but somewhat fraudulent. We were high in percentage when it came to red zone, high in percentage when it came to third down, but we were one of the last teams in turnovers and sacks. You don't have turnovers and sacks, it's not a really good defense. You can stop them with punch.
I think the defense did their thing though. I think if anything, the offense underperformed.
Dixon, we went from a top 5 sack team last year to a bottom 5 this year.
But you just said a top 10 defense overall though.
Overall.
Like that's
But
good
if you're
enough
not
to have the
going from
offense that we have and be like successful. Like I
I
feel like if
mean,
if the offense would have played up to potential, defense would have stayed the exact same, could have been a playoff team
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
100%. But when you got Tyler Huntley on the other side,
Hey
um,
Snoop, Connor, Snoop Dogg ain't gonna get it done, fam.
so James, let me ask you because I know this is your second team. What did you see when it came to Miami this year?
Yeah, I mean everything both of you kind of said. One of my biggest things for the Dolphins, they became too one-dimensional in the passing game as well. As Dixon said about maybe getting rid of Tyreek would be a good thing. I kind of agree because once teams kind of figured out what he was, it got very tough, I think, for the Dolphins to move the ball. The running game became nothing, from like you said, Mostert having almost a top 5, top 10 year last year to being obsolete.
Yeah,
Jalen Wright not being utilized to his potential, and then just too much A
Mm.
chain, too much A chain, too much A chain. The Dolphins just became way too predictable, and they didn't have enough other than short game. They didn't have nothing to. They couldn't get the ball down the field to back people
No
up.
deep game.
The defense, yeah, top 10 perhaps, like you said, Tyler. But I still felt like it was a little underwhelming.
of course.
Not having Chubb, and then
Phillips going out.
Phillips going out. But then who is homeboy that retired before he even played this year?
Oh, Shaq.
That
Shaq
that could have been
Barrett.
Barrett, Shaquille Barrett. There you go.
Shaquille Barrett.
There's some front 7 pieces there that kind of would have been nice to have. The secondary played a lot better. Can give them that, but I think the Dolphins' window, unfortunately, has sailed.
Yeah.
I like Mike McDaniel, but now I'm starting to question if he actually can adjust.
100%. And this is gonna have this coming year is gonna be
He's on the hot seat this coming year.
This is it. Like, yo, you don't got it. This is done. Same thing with the GM.
Hey, if you're not getting wins, that nerdy look can only get you so far.
Connor, what do you think about all this Miami hoopla?
I mean, it's tough because looking at your team and my team too, both on paper at the start of the season, we were both like, this could be a big year for both of us. And the injuries are always part of football, which is what you're expected. But the thing that we did better was that we signed Tyrod. Tyrod's is been a backup forever. He started. He's serviceable. He came in one game and was like 8 for 10 with like 80 yards and a touchdown. Like,
He's a journeyman.
Yeah, but he's a guy you can throw in there. Like, he could win us 2 to 3 of those 6 games that Tua missed. And if he does that, you guys are in the playoffs when I have this conversation. But it's there's so much talent on your team that just didn't really show up. And Chop was great this year, but
Chop, I love him, bro. Love him.
He was big. Like, I think he started off real slow.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then picked up. But I remember in
third down, like Kim Wake type of player.
Yeah, I remember in our first few episodes, I was talking about one person that kind of got forgotten about in the beginning was John Smith that came up, and then all of a sudden,
I'm glad you brought him up.
and that was a big thing that I talked
Rising
about. I was like,
star.
damn, I was like, you guys got a stud in this guy. And the first like 6 to 10 weeks, it was like, oh, okay, like he's kind of there, but he's not. But then all of a sudden, he broke
Nah,
every record.
he
He
was
became the
holding us
number one
down.
guy.
Yeah, he was holding us down for a minute, especially with that whole with Tua not being there. But as soon as Tua came back, shit, he exploded.
Yeah, I would think with his like underneath game would open up more for Waddle and Reek, but it just never kind of transpired that way, which I was surprised about for sure. So
Tua still never threw Tyreek a on point ball.
Stop,
To this
Dixon.
day, everything
Stop,
was an
Dixon.
underthrow. To this day, I never seen a one on
Stop
point
it,
ball,
Dixon.
deep
Nah,
ball.
you're wild. You're wild. One of the other
Hey,
things,
shout out Tyreek.
one of the other things that I was very pleased with this year is Armstead pretty much playing every game and only allowing it 2 sacks all season. This is going to be his last year because I know he was supposed to get surgery on at least one of his knees, and he kept playing because I think he knew it was time to hang it up. So that was really cool to see him all year really dominate. I think if I had to count off the top of my head, he probably had maybe 3, 4 penalties all year, only let up 2 sacks, and he was when he wasn't in the game, that really hurt.
Another player that might retire, historic career, Calais Campbell. Looked like this might have been it for him, just the way the thrill that he was having out there and the way he went out. Looked like it might be the end, but definitely enjoyed having him on the team. Always one of those guys that just brings joy to the team.
Reading like through the tea leaves with like what's being reported on him right now, it's a possibility he does come back. And I think it would have to be how the roster constructed next year. Because
You
we
heard it
got
here first?
what's that? No. This is
Oh,
deep
your
deep
sources.
Miami Dolphin Twitter beat writer shit.
Living in Miami is nice. It can prolong someone's career for an extra year or two. You might overpay for it,
For
but
sure, for sure.
But he was such a big factor. I mean, him and C like he started off so hot, and then Sealer kind of took that heat off of him. He played an immense role, and I know y'all seen all the memes with him and
well,
just what he did mean to the speeches to the team.
To the locker room.
Yeah,
a player like him with Calais and he's old school. A lot of the new guys, the young guys, don't I feel like do this much. But what I like about Calais and it gets in quarterbacks' heads is he's great at batting passes down, getting his hands up.
oh yeah,
Huge, and it makes the quarterback start thinking now. Uh-oh, because a lot of things are timing related, and all of a sudden, if that quarterback is like, oh, he's in the middle, I have to maybe throw it a little bit more to the right or to the left. That's extra thinking. But Calais is one of those old school guys where that's like his game.
I love that big with the big man in the
Huge
middle
part of his
slotted
game.
down. Hell yeah, Connor, as a Jets fan, how do you look at Tua? What is your like real opinion on Tua from an outside of actually from a rival?
Dixon knows this from one of our group chats that I'm a Tua believer, and I think this man has so much talent, and he's just like looked at like he's just I understand the health part of it. Like the best ability is availability. We all know that as
Preach,
football
preach, yeah.
fans. But like when he's out there, it's such a different team. He makes them look like they're 14-2. When he's not there, they're 2-14. And I mean, he got elite ball placement, elite accuracy. He's gotten smarter. He still runs a little, not so smart,
Mhm.
um, but sometimes I look at him like when he was on the sidelines of the Jets games with his little Fendi glasses, and I'm like,
Hey,
bro,
bro, when
what?
I
He
tell
was
you
doing too
that,
much that game, right?
nah, but I'm telling you, bro, I promise you, when you see a Tua on the sideline, I have never seen him look like that. I'm telling you, some shit was going on behind the scenes where he was pissed, and some shit was stirring up. I promise you, because Tua's always the first guy to give that quarterback a high five after when they're coming off the field. Tua's the first guy dapping up all his players. It's just
But I
it's
told you,
something
we
happened.
seen that at some point this year, his attitude changed. Like he just went different
Mhm.
this year.
Well, he got into the fuck you thing to the
CTE hit
media.
early. I told you that.
He was like, I'm tired of being the injury boy that everybody's talking about. And he
I
came
think
in
he just
hot,
doubled. Yeah, he
and
just
then he
doubled
got hurt
down on
again.
shit.
Fuck,
He got tired of playing the victim.
Fuck.
So I got to bring something up. I think this is worthy of a discussion here. With the different takes on Tua. I've been a Tua believer since he came out of college. I was like, he'd be number one if he wasn't hurt in college, in my opinion. Like Connor said, elite accuracy, right? Um, Smart as hell. But here's what I want to bring up, and I personally think this might be a problem with Tua. Is there such thing as being too smart for the position?
Elaborate
I
on
I think he overthinks everything too much because he's so smart about what's going on, the timing, how he plays the game. He's not a one read, two read kind of guy. He's a third, fourth, fifth read. Okay, jump down. Now it's too late. He takes a lot of bad hits. He studies, I feel like, and sees the game so in depth rather than just bang bang go. And I think he's gonna be a hell of a coordinator one day, but I think that might be his calling.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I see what you mean. Sometimes it's like too scripted. Like he needs to be a little bit more reactive,
that's
instinctual.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know. I feel like when I watch him, his eyes are just like yeah, it's great he can scan the whole field, but he's like you said, Dixon. Like it's scripted. If it doesn't go the way he sought to go, he kind of breaks down. He'll throw a flutter pass out wide, or he goes into the cradle position. In the pocket or something. But he gets happy feet a little bit when it's. I
But I
just
mean,
I,
think about when the line is healthy, though, how much better he is. Like I just said, 3 out of 4. Bro, we were starting people off the practice squad. Starters were practice squad players. So
yeah.
I think, man, I mean, I never really thought of it like that, but I'm not gonna say he's like too smart for the position. I think maybe he
Yeah, I could
overthinks.
never say that for a quarterback.
He over
True.
he overthinks his decisions because it's supposed to look a certain way.
I like
That
that.
makes sense, yeah.
I like the way you put it like that for sure.
He's more of like an actor rather than an improver. You know what I mean? If that's even
Hmm.
a word.
We see
At
that
QB, you kind of got to be a balance.
for us and like watching Rodgers play, like the best Aaron Rodgers is like blocking out the OC and being like, fuck it, I'm gonna call my own plays. And in against you guys and Buffalo as well, like there was a few drives where you knew that he was just hurrying up and he was making his own calls. He was checking, he was doing his can. And I think that's where if Tua can kind of get like that, where he's like, fuck it, like I'm gonna get it's more of a flow instead of like a script. And once he gets into that mode and he kind of trusts himself to make that throw and sit in the pocket, then I think he gets even better than he already is. I think that's his next step to being, into that elite category. But he just got to get there first.
And hopefully his body lets him get there, pretty much.
True.
This is funny because we have a Jets fan and a Vikings fan. I think you guys are higher than Dixon is on Tua, to be honest.
I think
I'm
so.
just so let down by now. Hey, I was the leader of the Tank for Tua campaign. Tyler
Oh
would tell
yeah,
you
yeah.
he was special in college, to that injury, but it's just like physically, it's hard for him.
Y'all got anything else on the Dolphin season?
Yo, Tua, early shout out on Tua's like Josh Allen year next year, like when everyone thought he was gonna be
Oh,
star
Dixon.
receiver leaves. Hold on.
Oh,
Hey,
oh no.
hey,
Oh no, here we go
hey.
again. This is why, bro. I'm caught in the cycle, Connor.
I'm in the same
This
cycle,
is
bro. Don't worry.
damn it, bro. I don't even be meaning to either. But yeah, watch out for that.
Hey, if that happens, you might hear from me every single day of the week. Just talking shit. Connor, Jets season 2024. How would you recap it? Obviously it wasn't a tremendous finish to the season. But how are you feeling about what's going on now and what happened throughout the season?
I mean, I feel like I feel better than most of Jets Twitter. Because I think for us, like our big thing was stability and with the head coaches in and out, in and out. We fired the GM. Our DC's in there as interim. Like, he's not going to be there forever. I think that we have one of the most extensive GM and head coach searches right now. I think we're up to like 20 interviews.
Wow, holy
Yeah, we're
shit, dude.
interviewing fucking everyone. I feel like my phone's about to go off like
You
next
should
week
have
just in
applied,
case.
bro.
Just in case, hey, I'm leaving my phone on just in case you guys want to give me a call. But they're interviewing everybody and anybody right now, and I think that's a good thing to get the right culture. And I think that's where we're lacking is our culture. Like we don't have a winning culture. You can't establish a winning culture if you've never won before. And I think that's where our issues are. But the season overall had, I mean, more downs and ups, but the ups were up. With the Devontae trade and Garrett Wilson and all that, it was fun to watch, but definitely probably one of the most disappointing years I've seen, just because of all the hype and the hype coming off last year, which was the most hype I've ever seen. And I was like, well, we finally put it together. We got a good team. You got Tyron Smith. You got, Olu, your first round pick. They both fucking get hurt. It's like musical chairs.
You
On
knew
an
that was going to
offensive
happen,
line.
though. That's
Bro,
what
the first
players
red
they were.
flags, the first red flags was the hard knock shit.
Oh no,
That
dude.
was and then the pyramids, and then I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I think it's just all the off-field stuff that was fucking it up, honestly. All that coach shit, like Connor was saying.
Yeah.
So hard to win when you got all that going on.
Yeah. So I think once we solidify the coach and the GM, and I know Tyler asked me prior, but I could bet if I was a betting man, which I'd absolutely am, I'm putting Aaron Rodgers there again next year. He'll be there again. Devontae will be there again. And one full year, one full off season with this whole, thing, I think, it could be good. Second year off an Achilles. The first year is never your best anyway. So second
Maybe
year
he'll
on that
skip a
Achilles.
Visa
Hey,
this time.
my man
Yeah,
Go
could
to
go
mini
anywhere,
camp.
bro.
we'll
Not
see.
according to Watson.
Well, yeah, he's got a different path. I think he earned that one though. But
Wait, but do you think, hold on, do you think Aaron Rodgers is capable of being better next year than he was this year?
yeah, Aaron Rodgers said it back in the day. His down years are some quarterbacks' career years, and you think about it, if you go back,
Statistically, he had a decent year
Yeah, he
he
on
had a
did.
good
paper.
year. Like he had a good year, and he, if you watch the games, like we all watch the games, every play, there was like three or four or five interceptions that were bounced off chest and picked
Yeah.
off. That's why I don't love interceptions being on there because it's not a true quarterback stat. But there was a lot of drop passes. We led the league in drop passes. I think it was 39 we ended up with.
Damn.
So you drop 39 passes, if his year would have been even better. But yeah, he had almost 4,000 yards and a bunch
No,
of
and
stuff.
y'all were in a lot of
So
those games, like game
Yeah,
on the line, you know what I'm saying?
we
So
were we
maybe if
were
he
actually we were 1-5 with a lead going into the fourth quarter this year.
if he could
Oh
improve
shit.
that fourth quarter, all that shit.
Real fast. It wasn't even the offense; it was our defense, which has never been the problem the last bunch of years. Usually our defense was top, but we like you guys, we fell off pretty hard. We were a top two, and we probably weren't two last year on defense, but we
Hey,
dropped to
Sauce, I
like
love you,
nine.
boy, but he finally, because he was going
Nah,
at a
man.
crazy peak, he finally
Don't
sizzled
start.
out a little bit.
What do
That
you
he
mean? What do you mean? Don't
Nah, I'm not. I'm
don't
not.
start.
I'm not remembering this
He,
sauce.
I'm saying he not. There
He's
was
in the
other corners
refrigerator right
better than
now.
him
He's
this
straight.
He
year.
doesn't get the
Past 2 years, he
attention.
was top two. Now he's top five. That's
But
it.
hey, wait. Who was
Still
calling the
elite.
defense
Still
last?
elite.
Who was calling the defense last year? Who was calling the defense year before? Salah. Once his boy left, Salah, what happened to Sauce?
He didn't do that bad. I feel like you guys are under.
Not only Sauce, not only Sauce. My fault. The whole
He
defense.
still was good, but he just. I'm saying where he was at this first 2 years was like
Yeah,
historical.
his
So it's
big
hard to
thing
keep
is
that up.
no. His big thing is he doesn't get the interceptions. That's just one thing that he just doesn't get them.
Or the
Um,
holding calls.
he gets a little grabby,
They
but I
they
feel
finally
like
started.
when you're a top player, you kind of get away with some of that stuff, and we see it
Yeah.
all the time. Like you see Josh Allen get calls now. You see Mahomes obviously get all the calls in the world. Like when you're an elite player, I
Right,
think you get
Dixon.
you get. I know Dixon. That's a soft spot for Dixon and Mahomes.
Matthew
I don't even
He was
want
Stafford.
to
hit
get
him in the ribs
involved.
with that one.
Started breathing. It's heavy.
But I mean, yeah, overall season wasn't good, but there was the bright spots were bright. And it's I feel like if we have a full, our problem is we never done a full rebuild. It's always like a patchwork, like let's get a new
Right.
quarterback and then we'll worry about the coach later. Like let's get a coach now, let's not draft anybody. It's like I feel like we should just kind of blow it up after this year. Like give us one more run with Rodgers and Devontae and see where it goes, and then next year just say let's really get to business here.
Well, I mean, for a blow up, you're talking about Like y'all front office, your coaching staff is ready for the blow up now.
Mhm. Yeah,
They're not gonna bring someone in and be like, hey, next year, yeah, we're getting rid of everybody.
for sure.
You know what I mean? But who would you like to see? Who would you like to see it run head coach?
Oh man, it was. I mean,
Rex.
no. I don't even want to hear that fucking name right now. Rex will
Fuck,
not be a
bro.
coach next year. It's not going to happen. If I could choose, it would have been Vrabel was my number
Of
one.
course, yeah.
But I think we
Oh
all
no,
kind of
that
knew
boy
that
he already got
That's
tied up. Yeah.
we
that's
already
not
knew
I
where
hate
that
that.
was going to go.
That was already
Um,
before it even happened. It was already his.
I was hoping he would just go to Chicago or some shit, but
yeah.
fuck.
But I would say my number one now is Aaron Glenn, also former Jet, big defensive guy, can control a locker room, fires people
Where's he
up.
coming from?
The
Detroit DC.
Lions, and you see that Lions defense is something serious. But I heard a guy that's got a good chance is one of your old friends is Brian Flores. Um, so
That'd be
You
interesting.
don't want that, bro.
B
Trust.
B Flow 2.0.
Too
yeah,
harsh.
I don't know.
I
He's
I
too
love
harsh.
B Flow all the way until you came out with like they came out with the stories, like how much of a prick he was with everybody. So I can't hate on B Flow going to New York, but careful with if he thought the Dolphins owner was fucked up, like you going into a different world, bro.
Woody Johnson's grandkids.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you better polish up on his Madden, right?
Don't
Yeah,
even start with that shit.
I have a couple questions for you, Connor.
Go for it, man.
All right, so Dixon already stole my thunder. I've been hearing Rex Ryan too. You know, he's going to change the culture around, but I think that's crazy.
I like
But
Rex.
I like him in the booth rather than a coach personally. But a couple things for me that I kind of had a feeling. So we talked a little bit beforehand. You know, I born and raised in Minnesota, so I have a lot of love hate for Aaron, right? And I actually kind of don't mind seeing him be a little bitch, because of all the heartache I've endured with him. And like you said, he's a great improviser. When he's out of the pocket doing his own thing, he'll break every defense down, or he has in the past. I didn't see that killer instinct with him this year. Something seemed off. I didn't watch games religiously all year, but when I did see the games, he looked slower. Obviously, the Achilles probably, a little bit. He was limping a little bit. But my biggest thing for me, I felt like Garrett Wilson was a letdown this year. And Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay has made so many guys so good from nobody to superstardom. You've got a Garrett Wilson, then you picked up the Devontae Adams. They still couldn't seem to figure it out. I thought it was crazy. I was shocked, but I will agree. I think a lot of the receivers have never been used to catching a ball that comes out of Aaron Rodgers' hands compared to the quarterbacks they've had in the past there. It comes out fast and hard and on point. And I think that was a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, watching, I mean, every game, every play, I mean, you could see that it was like they were a tick off. And it was everybody, even Lazard, like who can't catch a football to save his life, like all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
But I mean, you could just see he would want like him to sit down in the route, but Garrett would kind of take it up the field, or he wouldn't break off his route quick enough, and I think that's where being too smart, what you said before, like I kind of was like agreeing with you because like I think Rodgers is thinking like, okay, if he's smart enough, he'll do this instead, but Garrett goes this way, or doesn't sit in his route. And I think that was the biggest thing this year is like, missing a full year of practice with your quarterback is it's not like Tyreek Hill, you can just throw that bitch as far as you can. He's gonna go get it. It's Garrett Wilson's a technical route runner. He made Ramsey look foolish out there last
Both games, bro. Both
both
games.
games. But there's been so many times like where I watched the all 22 film and Rodgers just is missing like the wide open throw, like the big time throw where we all know Rodgers, that's what his skill is. And I don't know if it's like him like double clutching and overthinking it, but like he just looked a little bit off. Hopefully it's just a timing thing, but I can definitely see, yeah, Garrett Wilson was a letdown. Brees Hall was a letdown.
Yeah.
Like give the guy the football to run it, like please.
Yeah.
I
So
think A-Rod just like physically, he's getting old. Like, that's also
Yeah,
just
Father
a huge
Time,
thing
bro.
that we haven't talked about, but it just happens to everyone and usually happens super quick. Tom Brady's usually like the only anomaly, but
Tom Brady
we
fucked
didn't
it up
see
for
Peyton
everybody.
Manning, Breeze, all of them just fall off a cliff like one season to the next couple. So
Yeah, I mean, but that's the problem with this season. When I'm talking about the highs and lows. Is like the throw that Rodgers made to Devontae Adams against the Jaguars in double coverage, where he kind of like reached out and it was just like the
the
most perfect
bomb.
ball. Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
66 yard. I don't know. I was like, holy, like Devontae ended up with like 285 and 3 touchdowns
That
that
was
game.
crazy.
I was like, here's
Yeah, that
the
was a
turning point
vintage.
that we all needed. Rodgers was vintage Rodgers, but it's like he couldn't string 3, 4, 5 games like that. The last couple games, he had like 13 touchdowns and 1 interception. So it was
Yeah.
nice to see it. I think he ended with like 17-2 the last couple games, but I just don't think. I think it's just a timing thing. That's why I say if he's back again next year with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, a full year of training,
Full
mini camp,
mini yeah, mini camp for
you
sure.
know, that's a
Hey,
big
no
thing.
Egypt
That's a
trips
good
this
thing.
time, buddy.
That's
Please.
it. That's it. No more trips. So,
I think
Connor
uh,
he can
probably got
he
a subscription, like a club prescription
You
subscription to
know he
like
got a
Iowa.
room in the pyramids,
He
bro.
already
Come on.
got one. Like that's just ready for him next year
Shit's
or
on
this year.
lock.
I think he came out and said he's not going this year.
Oh,
I think he said
Wait,
he's
you
gonna
think
dip.
Garrett Wilson's staying though?
yeah, Garrett Wilson has no choice. We own his rights for like the next 3 years. He can't do anything. He can
God
request a
damn
trade
it.
all he wants, but
Jesus
nothing he can
Christ.
do
no
about it.
choice.
He'll be all
Whew,
right.
my boy is
He ain't going
shackled there.
nowhere. You can see it's a frustrating. Yeah, he comes from Ohio State. It's a winning program. He wants to win. You could say he's a top 6, 7
Hey,
receiver.
don't let the
At
Jets
times,
season
yeah.
forget. Don't let y'all forget. Garrett Wilson had one of the greatest catches of all time this season.
Sure
Yeah,
The
did.
Jumpman catch.
that
Yep.
was incredible, man. That was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. All right, digging into the games from the weekend. The first game was Texans Chargers. Dixon, talk to me about what you saw in this game.
Grown man ball.
Dominance.
That's it.
Yeah.
Grown man versus, teenage ball.
I was
That's what I
surprised
saw.
how bad the Texans beat the shit out of them. After those first two drives, the Chargers could have had this game by the balls of 14-0 before the Texans could even start their script of the first quarter.
Patrick Surtain, the second best cornerback in the league. Second right there, right next to him is probably Derek Stingley Jr. And I think he showed that in that game. Them boys absolutely bought out on defense. I think CJ Stroud, I think he's fine.
Yeah,
I
he's
still
fine.
believe in him. I just think his O line is absolutely awful. I
Mm-hmm.
think CJ Stroud with full weapons, competent O line, Super Bowl contender. But he's just, trying to make it work. But he didn't really play well at all. It's just that Herbert, I mean, he pretty
Herbert
much
played
gave him the
terrible,
game.
but Mixon held that offense down. Mixon had like one of those
Right.
vintage games.
He
Like
low key had a bounce back year,
he did. He
honestly.
missed a couple games, but he did have a good year.
Bro, he was one of those. He's one of those running backs I thought was done like 6 years before he's not even done yet.
Yeah,
Like I
that
remember you drafted him couple fantasies ago, and I'm like, oh, you're bugging.
he had his best year that year, by the way. Remember. Um,
Damn it.
this Texans team, this was not during the season. They did not play like this during the season. They went up like 2 levels in this game, specifically the defense. Um, Connor, what did you think about this game?
It was a great game, man. I think this is a game that D'Amico Ryan's kind of control when we talk about defense. He's a defensive guy. They just looked so good, and I didn't understand because all the teams that won, they pounded the football, they ran the ball hard, and everybody's offensive line is pretty good. And I think that's a big thing for like rookie quarterbacks and younger quarterbacks like Daniels and Stroud that haven't been in the league too long. If they get a little bit of time, they'll be okay. And as long as they can hand the ball off to a Mixon or a Derrick Henry like that behind a good offensive line, they're going to be fine. And I think that's what we saw. And then the defense just took over. Yeah, Stanley played out of his mind.
Out of his mind, bro.
Out of his mind.
Went crazy.
James, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think it's one of those classic, as you said. I didn't get to watch the game in full, seen a bunch of highlights, but anytime like in like NFL with professional sports, if you get two field goals and you get opportunities to score and you don't, you're just allowing. It's just a matter of time. The other team just going to take it. I felt like the score doesn't really do the game justice in a sense. There's a lot of crazy scoring the way it happened. Obviously, the 4 picks were just ridiculous by Herbert, but um, like Connor just said, D'Amico Ryans was a stud player for the Texans as a linebacker. Great defensive minded coach. I think the offense lacks a little with DJ Stroud. Like I think he has potential, but I think he has moments where you can tell he's a 1 year pro. Like he's got moments where like what the hell are you thinking? Where I almost feel like D'Amico Ryans doesn't really know what to do with them. He's just like just go do something because he's a
Yeah, it
defensive
feels like
guy.
that sometimes.
He's a
Yeah.
defensive guy, and it's just like I feel like they need somebody for Stroud to. I don't know, but Mixon had a hell of a year. But I honestly think the better team won. The Chargers to me kind of limped in, but I think overall throughout the year, the Texans had a little bit of a fall at the end of the season, but their defense is what also carried them this year. And they're back, they're healthy. Will Anderson up front, even that Tua, another Alabama guy,
Yeah.
phenomenal linebacker. Stingley, like they've got all levels, like somebody special or pretty dominant, and I think there'll be a good matchup next week.
One thing I will defend CJ with the year that he had, he never had, well, maybe for maybe not even a handful of games, all of his weapons. Because you remember Collins went out for a chunk of the season, and then
Yeah.
when Collins came back, Tank Dell got hurt,
Stephon Diggs was
and
absolutely
Stephon
balling
Diggs.
before he went out.
So, but the O
Yep.
line, like you mentioned, like that O line was trash.
It's been trash all year, but I think CJ Stroud's just like a winner. I think him and Daniels is
I
just,
think you're
we'll
right.
talk about him later, but they're just winners.
I
Playoff
think you're
times,
right.
they show up.
I think you're right.
I think Daniels looks more polished right now though than Stroud personally. In
Oh
control.
yeah.
Daniel looks special.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that.
And CJ
Uh,
Stroud, hey, you don't gotta fuck with Amber Rose, bro. You a
oh
man of
no, come
God.
on, man.
You a man
Mm.
of God. Like, that ain't gonna do you good, bro.
You're good, bro. I'm sure you'll be fine. Like you don't need to do that.
Chew it up
Yeah.
and spit out.
You don't
Yeah,
need to.
just learn what you need to learn and then keep it pushing.
Steelers and Ravens. Ravens took care of an AFC North business.
Mm,
This was the Lamar and Henry show, to be honest. He
this
had
was the fucking
299 yards on the ground, most in playoff history. I mean, this was Ravens football. It was awesome.
you just said most in playoff history.
Yes, sir.
Incredible.
Wow.
Connor, what you gotta say, fam?
Just another example of having a great running back running behind a great offensive line and winning the game easily. I think that's what I was scared about this year. I heard the Henry to Dolphins rumor and I was like, oh fuck, please don't do this to me. Like I don't want to deal with this all year. But seeing him really come into his own, like I know obviously he's one of the best running backs we've ever seen, but it just looks so easy for him out there. And
Right.
Lamar, it just looks like he's playing nonchalant football, like Cam Ward football. Like he's just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna just take off, or I'm gonna throw this ball. And it was like the most dominant playoff win I've seen in a while. Like it wasn't even close. Like I know the score might look a little closer than it was, but it was pure dominance from quarter one to quarter four and everything in between for sure.
Beginning of the fourth, as soon as the Ravens got the ball, they ran. They were running the clock from the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I
It
seen
was
them one whole drive just run the whole way, not one passing play to
yeah.
the end zone.
When you can do that, you won.
But
You don't
that's
even
what
have
the
to throw it.
Ravens look, but that's what the Ravens were supposed to do every time. The problem is they started getting too in their own heads with Lamar trying to prove him to be something that he's not. And that's why they kept coming up short in those playoff losses. But I feel like now they're actually doubled down on who they are. They're like, no, this is who we are. We're gonna crush you.
Well, obviously, yeah,
So
that
hopefully they remind that when it's time to play Patrick.
yeah, I do agree. They played a certain way, but they didn't have Derrick Henry. That's really what it came down to. They were using um Justice Hill. They were using Dobbins. Like they were
My
using
boy
C.
Gus Edwards,
They
touchdown
were
machine last year.
they were using C running backs. When you have an A,
Right, right, right.
look what happens. I
No,
mean,
yeah, it's all the
he had what
difference in the world.
1,700 yards on the ground. Like
Well, I
I think
mean,
like 1900.
Lamar's game opens up Henry. Henry's game opens up Lamar. Like it's just,
Big time, bro. Big time.
I mean,
And Lamar got a few weapons out there. Bateman's finally healthy, and he shows you what he could do when he's healthy.
mhm.
I totally agree with what you said earlier, Connor. Like me and Dixon been saying it. Like Lamar is literally playing out there.
He's on a
He's
different
toying with
level
them.
right now, bro. I don't see how he loses now. Like he's in that zone.
He's at
Locked the
an
fuck in.
unbelievable level right now.
Well,
Um,
mind you, their defense is actually playing really well too.
well,
They
yeah, they're starting. Yeah, they in the back half of the season they've really
Yes.
jumped up.
Back to that Baltimore.
they
Hey,
put Kyle
Humphreys and
Hamilton back in.
Hamilton,
Yep, yep,
them two in the
they
backfield is lethal.
for sure.
Going into the next game, Broncos Bills. I mean, this was a game that you could take a nap in after the first quarter.
Damn it.
Just to be
When
honest.
when Bo Nix threw that first bomb, you know how hype I was?
Hey,
That
everybody watching
fucking
that game thought, "What if? What if?"
I said, no. Is it gonna happen? Josh Allen said, no, fam.
Nope.
It's fine. It's
He's
actually totally fine.
Like, thanks for the practice. That's what he said.
No
co MVP.
worries.
Co MVP wasn't going to go down like that.
That was, I
Exactly.
mean, James Cook was killing it. Both tight ends were
Yo,
killing it.
James Cook, you're gonna have to start getting into that most underrated running back in the league talk because his name never gets brought up. But every time I see the Bills, he's balling.
Every time
Passing, catching, and running.
against the
Elite
Broncos,
speed. I think that just runs in the Cook family.
it must. Young Cook. Um, every run he had was at least 8 yards. If I looked at his averages, it's probably 80
He the
carries.
type not even to make a move on you. He's just gonna hit that outside. You're not gonna catch him.
So yeah, reality sank in for the Broncos real quick after the first drive or so.
I'm still impressed they made the playoffs.
Exactly, bro. I'm not bummed out if I'm a Broncos fan.
Hell
Successful
no.
season, overachieved. They got a good quarterback. Great job, Broncos, this year.
They got a good
Yeah.
blueprint, like
Way to
for
bounce back from that Russell Wilson debacle.
they got a good blueprint moving forward. Coach, they got the quarterback, they got the defense. Like throw some
Yeah.
more shit around and be all right. Connor, what'd you think about this game?
Gonna be repetitive again, man. Great running back, great offensive line, easy win. I think that's where you see playoff football. It's not your week 7 throwing for 367 and 4 touchdowns. Like
Mm,
you'll get a game like that, but to go back to a long, long time ago in 2009, 2010, when we made the playoffs, that was, Sanchez would go out there like 14 of, 27, 144 yards, a touchdown and a pick. But Thomas Jones, Sean Green, LaDainian Tomlinson, like those guys were running the ball. They'd both have 100 yards and a touchdown. I said that's where playoff football is all about the ground and pound, wear you out, and then just take over control on the defensive
Control,
side of
yeah.
the ball too. So,
defense is
uh,
gonna tighten up.
yeah, I mean, Bills are the Bills. It's I have them in the Super Bowl this year. I have them finally getting over the Mahomes hill. I just think Josh is just so dominant, and he's leaning on his legs a lot more, and it's just making him an even better player. I know he runs a lot regardless, but the way he's running now just looks more fluid. It looks better. He doesn't take
Hmm.
those big hits, and when he
Smarter,
does,
yeah.
yeah, way smarter. And I mean, guys, don't forget he's throwing some Mac Hollins, Shakir, like guys that you're not like, holy shit, these guys are great. It's not a Justin Jefferson or a Devontae
No,
Adams. It's Curtis Samuel. Like,
no
what are we talking
names.
about? And this guy's gonna be an MVP with those
Guys that wear
people.
no shoes and shit.
All right, that
Just
no
walk,
shoe shit. Tell me what y'all think about that.
shit is weird, man.
I don't fuck with it. I
Disgusting.
don't like
I
it.
was fucking with it to a certain point. Like, look, I get you like grounding. You want to
Yeah,
go
it's
to the
cool.
park, but fam, you talking about you go to Publix like that?
Come on, bro. Put some fucking shoes on. Put some
Yo,
You
slides
showing
on.
up to NFL game day like that?
Come on, man.
he's got Cal's feet. He's been on like 10 NFL teams. He's been around. He's been to every city. Come on now.
Journeyman. Hey, nah, but I recently saw something on Josh Allen. I know Connor, you would appreciate this, like how he changed his mechanics throwing the ball, and that's really what changed everything for him. And you could see like the progression from how he threw the ball his rookie year to how he throws now. completely changed his mechanics. Now he throws with his whole body. Rookie year, he was just throwing with his arm. So if you really study that, you see the difference. It's actually really dope to see.
Damn, I'm gonna look
Well,
that up. That's interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
Dixon, the biggest knock on Allen coming out of Wyoming was his accuracy. Everybody knew he had a cannon,
right.
but the biggest and he ran the ball like crazy. But his biggest thing was, oh, he can't throw the football on to a standing dummy, right? But the dude just threw it. I just looked up. He 20 of 26, 272 and two touchdowns, like and 50 yards rushing almost. Like, come on, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And even his
Efficient.
rookie year,
that's
he was
nonsense.
still very inaccurate. Like his rookie year, it was not good,
Yeah.
but definitely put in the work and got with the right
But
coaches.
I'm calling it, man. It's co-MVP this year. You can't take it away from Josh Allen. He means everything to Buffalo Bills. And you obviously Lamar Jackson has had an MVP year. You can't they just like it's Aaron Rodgers esque stats back in his heydays of Green Bay. Um, I just think it's co-MVP. I just don't know how you.
Wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Me neither, man. I would be satisfied. I would be satisfied to be honest, Connor.
Co-MVP. I mean, that's a great point. Either way, like I would, if you take Josh Allen off the Bills, that's like a 3-13.
They're
Like
not making the
they're back.
playoffs.
But I mean, they just both had such amazing seasons. I just think Josh Allen means a little bit more. Um, I just think he's gonna win it this year. I just think that he's just due for one.
I
I
think Lamar has like the better stats, but Josh Allen has like the more impact, I would say.
I would say, yeah, he has more impact to his team, but when you look at
But
LJ,
those stats on
they
LJ is
don't
a
look
little
real.
bit
They don't look
no,
real.
they're violent, bro.
It's like
I was
it's
telling Tyler like those stats scare me. Like I thought I was reading a typo at first.
4 interceptions. It's crazy.
Four interceptions over 40 touchdowns.
It's something like that. Like I know he's under five
890
interceptions, isn't he?
yards. No, it's crazy.
Rushing. The big thing for me, which is interesting though too, is like with Josh Allen, he's only got like 400 or 500 yards rushing, but he's got like 14 touchdowns rushing.
Yeah,
Whereas
Right.
Lamar's got the 800-900 yards rushing, but only like
3 or
five or
4.
six touchdowns or whatever it is. So it's like, damn, like there's a significance in yards, but there's a hell of a significance when it comes to pounding the ball into the end zone.
And
For
Lamar
sure.
has a whole bunch of like fumbles this year too. Josh Allen doesn't have that many. He has like one or two.
Well, he only has like 2 lost fumbles though. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Going back to what Connor was saying with it, when he's running, he's just running smarter, and they're using him more in the run game. Those 3rd and 2s, you can't stop them.
Mhm.
The 3rd and 2, third and 3, like it's going to be a quarterback draw to the right, and you're just not going to be able to
Or that
stop.
4th and 1, Josh Allen in a tush push. Can't
Yeah,
do
He
nothing
is
with that.
no one's behind him with the tush push. He's just like, all right, go.
And he gains like 4 yards with that. It's not like
Yeah,
he's
it's
barely.
going into the next game, Philly and Green Bay. Philly took care of business. The gunslinger in Love threw the 3 too many picks. Jacobs played pretty damn good. The defense played very well. Very impressed by the defense, but ultimately Philly came up on top, and at a lot of times they handled them. If it wasn't for Saquon, they wouldn't have won this game. Because if I'm a Philly fan, I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit on Hurts, to be honest.
Don't do that, bro. I'm gonna have to roast you too, Connor.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, don't do that. See,
This is
why?
scary,
Look,
Dixon.
dog, Jalen Hurts has had a fucking amazing career thus far. And he
Not
gets
say,
this
bro,
much
not
hate.
saying
Hold on,
that.
hold on. He gets this much hate. I don't know why. It's probably because he's looks good. He dresses fly. He's well composed. He talks in Instagram quotes, if you didn't notice. This might be the reason why, but Jalen Hurts has had a phenomenal career. 70% winning percentage, shows up in the playoffs, just got another playoff win.
Mhm.
And here we are scratching our heads.
Okay, let me ask you 2 things. For one, you're 100% right. Jalen Hurts is the guy. I defended him earlier in the year.
He's coming off a vicious
I get it.
concussion, fam.
Whoa, whoa,
Can
whoa,
we
whoa, whoa.
chill?
Do you
Can we
hold true to
chill?
those standards? Do you hold true to that same standard?
Mm,
No,
I told Tua he should
no.
retire.
Next, if Tua had 30 yards in the first half of a playoff game, would you be saying the same shit?
But look,
No.
he doesn't need
He had
to. He doesn't
117
need to.
yards, bro.
He doesn't
Stop.
need to. He doesn't need to. Like you just said,
He
but
was moving the bar down.
Why are we holding them at fault for using their all-time great running back?
That was the only reason why they were winning is because that all-time quarterback or running back.
That's why he's there.
To put a Band-Aid on Hurts
Come
when
on.
Hurts ain't bro, Connor, how many balls did you see hit the floor before it got to the receiver?
It was bad, dude. It wasn't that he didn't need to throw; he just couldn't complete the passes.
Thank you.
It wasn't like they're like, "Yo, run the
He
ball
had a
55
headache.
times."
He had a headache.
Somebody pull his completion percentage that game. What was his stats? Because it wasn't good.
Jalen Hurts was 13 of 21, 131 yards and 2
Yeah,
touchdowns.
dude, put me out there. I'll do the same thing for you. I can hand
Two
the ball off.
touchdowns, no picks. That's
Oh,
bad now.
it's not that it's bad, but
It's
it's
not
not
that
like he was like,
But
"Oh my God, Josh Allen, Mahomes, 275, 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown." But it's just like the first half, I think he had 39 yards,
He had 39 yards the first half.
and they weren't blowing him out. It was a close game.
It was like 10-0.
it's on Jordan Love this game
Yeah,
because the Green Bay Packers had more yards than the Philadelphia Eagles did.
Yeah, 3 picks. You gave the ball away. Philly
You
didn't give
had
the ball away at all.
like Saquon's a beast, but he only had 119 yards. I say only, but like Henry had almost 200. That's balling out. Saquon, that's 100 yards is good, but it's not like always game changing when you have a quarterback that only throws 100 yards.
If
that
he runs
last
for
rush,
that
though,
touchdown,
he could have had more if he ran
yeah,
in that touchdown.
Oh,
But
he would have had
yeah.
the
Oh,
ball
true,
like
true.
50 at
You're
least.
right. You would have added
Low
another
key
60
was the
to
right
that, yeah.
play though.
No, fuck it. Playoffs, baby.
Yeah, you're right about. I forgot about that last run. He could have.
he would have had like
80 to it.
175 and 2 touchdowns, or
Yeah,
would have
right.
actually had 1 touchdown.
No, you're right about that.
But I mean, Philly won. They had the game. They had the game in a stronghold, and there was
Yeah,
just nothing that. After a while, they couldn't just keep giving it to Josh Jacobs. He was a beast in there. They couldn't keep giving it to
Clearly the
him.
third best running back this year, I would say.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, man. You really are right on that. But also, Jay Love missing his 1 through 3 receivers. I mean, that hurt a lot. You know, they were dumping the ball off to
Hey,
their tight
another
end.
person that's very underrated they were missing a good portion of the season, Jair Alexander, their best
yeah.
defensive back. He's a stud when he's out there, but he wasn't out there. It was Christian Watson.
I don't know if y'all saw, but I think the best game of the weekend was the Dallas Goedert double stiff arm touchdown. I don't know if y'all saw that. It was about a 25-yard
That
tight
was
end
dope.
screen.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it
He
was just
stiff
in the
armed the same guy
moment.
twice, right? He stiff armed the same guy twice.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just in the
Yeah, that's
moment,
crazy.
but that was a play that one of the best plays I've seen all year. I don't know why, because it's just a simple stiff arm the guy twice, but
No, because you stiff arm the same person twice. That's disrespectful,
the
fam.
way he just ripped him off, I don't know. It was
Yo, but Derrick
Yeah.
Henry, that ain't a stiff arm no more. That's a right hook. Like that was crazy. Who did he do that to? I forgot.
Dude, who didn't he do it to? It seems like, right?
Yeah, for real.
Connor, what'd you think
Nah,
about
but
these
wait,
Philly dub?
what about Jordan Love though? I'm not really worried about him. Are you guys?
I think I am a little bit.
James, I mean, I feel like you being in that, division, you would have more insight. You are a little bit too reckless, right?
Yeah, so I'm not like he's not to the level where when you're gonna match up to him, I'm not scared that he's gonna put it on and beat you. He's gonna need his players around him, right? He hasn't done it enough consistently yet for me to really see him as that threat. Does he have some ability? Absolutely. I just I don't know. Premature. I think he got paid prematurely, but
For
so he
sure.
got put on the map pretty quick. He's been in some tough instances though. Like he's had some injuries around him that hasn't helped.
He's
But
got injured himself.
but
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
happy
agree.
seeing
I
the
think he
Packers
has the
lose
arm talent.
any day of the week.
I think he has the arm talent. I think he just has to fix like the X's and O's, but I think all the talent's there.
Yeah.
Going into probably the best game of the weekend, Commanders Bucks. Game
Oh
winning
man.
drive by Jaden Daniels, field goal with 3 seconds left. Hey, Jaden Daniels is that guy. He's a guy. Bro, he's a guy. Like, this is way better than CJ looked. This is way better than Caleb looked. This is way
Mm.
better than a last couple of drafts of quarterbacks. Like, yo,
Way
they
better
really
than
did
Trevor
that.
Lawrence, all them boys.
They really did that. Like, Jaden Daniels is a guy in the league. Like, this is a huge W.
I think with him, bro, he just always gonna make the right play. He not trying to go. He doesn't care about the highlights. He cares about the right play at the right time. I think that's like his number one attribute.
I'll flat out say I was completely wrong. I was not on him at all coming out of college. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Another guy that likes to run the ball, has an arm, tiny frame.
That frame was
He is
very,
small.
Well,
He's
yeah, that was
I'll,
scary.
but
he's
I
small.
will. He runs like he has
Pretty
a frame
physical.
a frame of a Lamar. Like he had those two runs at the end of the game that literally won them the game. Like the Kalijah Cansey that got in off that read option and like had him, and he just slipped away. And then he had another where then the next one he stiff arms a guy to
Yeah,
get the first down. It's
Mm.
like you just stiff arm an end, a defensive end that's probably
Hmm.
60 pounds heavier than you. You know, like he he's got it. I would be extremely satisfied if I was a Commanders fan right now.
for sure.
RG3 2.0.
Even
Connor,
better.
what do you think about this game?
I think that definitely was the best game. It gets me frustrated and upset because I'm like, this team goes in, drafts a quarterback, and he's the fucking man.
Boom,
Take it
there
to the
it is.
playoff, and I'm
Yep.
like, I got Zach Wilson,
Shit we've
Sam
been looking
Darnold.
for decades, bro.
I'm like, I just want to get and just win one. Like, get
Just give
me in
me
the
one.
playoffs. But it's cool to see them hit on a guy like that. I know there was a lot of hype
They
with Caleb
deserve it.
Williams. Yeah, I mean, I know some of us were really high on Caleb Williams this year. Some of us were not, but Jaden Daniels is he's that guy. He's got the it factor. He's him. He's whatever that y'all want to say. And to go down in crunch time and be like, I need to go score. Like we got to go score. I'm gonna take this team down myself. And like you guys said, like the runs that he made, like the plays he made were big time plays in big time games. And he might just have that winning gene. And it would be sick to see them,
Clutch
make a
factor.
little run in the playoffs. But they're going to be set up for next year. They're going to probably be super attractive for free agents.
Yeah.
Things like that. They're going to want to go play on a winning team. So it'll be cool to see what happens next.
I think it was great to see Scary Terry do his thing. I'm so happy that he finally got a chance to go on the national stage because those who know, he does this every Sunday.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just not televised, but really dope to see him get the shine. What we thinking about Baker Mayfield though?
Yeah, good. Well, before you bring him up in a positive light, the reason why they lost this game is because that fumble
That
handoff.
fumble, they try to do some cute wide receiver
They
reverse shit.
just like the Miami stuff, timing, right?
Yep. It was what, .2 of a second off, and it pretty much lost them.
But it seems like Baker always gets to this. This is like his ceiling. Like he always gets here to the same point, and he just hasn't been able to go over the hump, even on his greatest season, which was a great season.
Well, he got to the second, remember, because they beat Pittsburgh, and it was a big
Yeah.
deal. But that next
But
game,
it
they
was
got
the same
blown
thing.
out.
He lost to Mahomes due to a late game turnover that he had.
Oh, there we go. But no, Baker, man, great season, but ultimately, look what happened.
Connor, what do you think about Baker Mayfield as a quarterback? What's your assessment on him?
I think Baker's probably one of the more solid guys. I think he doesn't blow you away with stats but he has a couple plays where you're like, "Oh, that was different." I feel like he's like that middle of the pack. Like you can kind of forget about him sometimes, and when you're talking about good quarterbacks, but I think he's one of those guys that's just always going to be good, and
Yeah.
that's going to be about it. Like he's never going to
Yeah,
get to
man.
that. If he's not doing it now, like I don't know, he's got a lot of talent around him. I know Godwin, was hurt and all that, but you got two good running backs. You got Mike Evans. You got a good team. Got a good defense, and you let this kid come in there and take that shit from you.
Yeah.
And it's tough because he's such a he's. I think like I said, I think he's just good. He's just good enough to get there, but he's not good enough to get you past that hump to get to the next game or the Super Bowl or anything like that.
I agree.
Hey,
And
but
yo, shout
Yeah.
out. Hey, look, I also want to have this conversation. Mike Evans, who's getting a lot of praise, super crazy stat he's accomplished. and he's a longevity guy, but he was never the best receiver in the league in any of his years.
Nah, not in the league. Maybe top six, maybe
But just
ish.
a model of consistency and longevity, and that'll get you to the Hall of Fame, and that'll get you to legend status.
I mean, 10 years though. Wow, that's
Bro, 11 straight years, 1,000 yards.
11.
Yeah, that's fucking
You're
crazy.
you're a badass. You're just not getting the attention, right? Because of
Right.
your record. Because for many, many years, the Buccaneers were shit. Um,
True.
you
Had
know,
random people
bounce
throwing in the ball.
He got a ring
ra
too. I mean,
random, exactly.
He got that ring.
But
Forgot
but
about that.
you don't get 1,000 yards receiving by accident. You just don't. Um, and they actually put a funny stat up with Baker during the game where he has, was it the second or third most passing yards in since 2023,
no shit.
and he's got like, yeah, top five touchdown passes, but then he's also got the most interceptions thrown.
Mm.
Mm.
So that's the thing about Baker. He's a dog, and I like his grit, but he's dangerous. He's one of those guys where just he'll flip your game upside down real quick with a bonehead play. And you're like, what are you thinking, dude? Like, why? But he's good though.
I don't know if y'all saw, but there was one game where he ran the ball, trucked someone, and then talked shit over him, and then both teams came together and fought while he walked away. It
Yeah,
was all, dude. It was like he lit a fire and just walked away. It was dope.
they showed that in the game. The
Oh,
game
they
the other night.
did?
Yeah,
Damn, I
it was
didn't
pretty
realize
funny.
that.
Yeah, he the
Yeah,
type to definitely be talking shit out there.
yeah.
Going into the last game, Vikings and Rams.
Oh boy.
Obviously, we all know Rams won, but James, open up your notebook. Let's. What are your thoughts? How we feeling? They removed. What are we thinking on this game and the state of the Vikings?
So much, so much shit on my mind. I can't even say it all at once. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm pissed to to end the season like this. Um,
Let it all
but
out.
going into the game, we lost to the Rams in the regular season. We don't match up that well. They got too many weapons on offense with the receiving core, and our secondary has always been our Achilles heel. And Matthew Stafford, for some damn reason, gets out of the casket, for a few games a year, and he figures it out against us. Again, picked us apart. Uh, it's just a terrible way to go down. It really is. But I cannot be dissatisfied with the way the season went. Nobody in Minnesota or in the nation expected the Vikings to be where they were. Um, I think we got a hell of a future. We have, I think, what is it? It's almost 70 million in cap going into next year.
Oh, nice.
Sam Darnold now saved us a few million there. So if I'm not going to say if we had our left tackle healthy, we would be a different game. But Christian Darrisaw on the left side is a massive loss. He's a top 2 to 3 left tackle when he's healthy. But and then if Matthew Stafford, his incomplete passes they're impressive how you can be upside down but to land on your head and throw an incomplete pass.
That
You
was
know,
terrible. That call was awful,
You
dude.
thought, wait, I thought that was a fumble.
No, they
no,
called it an incomplete pass.
I
they
know, I
reversed.
know.
Yeah.
I thought that was bullshit.
That was
So
bullshit, bro.
They
and
should have at
and
least gave him intentional grounding. At
At
least.
least.
at least so not to say that completely is the reason why we lost, but that changes the whole entire landscape of the game. We're tied if that touchdown stands. Like it's a whole different landscape. But regardless, I think disappointed beyond belief, but I think next year is going to be great. Kevin O'Connell to me is the man. Just goes to show you what a system can do for a player.
James, let me ask you though, did you in the back of your mind fear this day would come? Like, did you feel like, all right, this is a Cinderella ride, but eventually something's got to give? Were you surprised by this Sam Darnold game, or were you secretly expecting this?
So I was not Yes, I thought about when's it going to end because I'm a Minnesota Viking fan. Our we have had those years for many, many years, and it's usually by a field goal, right? But it wasn't because of Darnold. But I will tell you, man, the Lions exposed us really bad week 18. Bring pressure, bring
Mm,
pressure, bring pressure. We couldn't handle it. And I cannot believe that we still couldn't seem to figure out a game plan after that game. And our receivers kept running deep routes. It's like at some point, your guys got to cut these routes off. There's
right.
nobody for you to throw the ball to. Like Darnold had no time. Our offensive line couldn't hold anybody. Like it was crazy. Like Jared Verse had a game. Like that guy was in there in the backfield almost every other play. But I felt like the Lions really exposed us, like the way they played and the pressure they brought against us. We had no answer.
The Rams pretty
That
much copied their formula.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And it's like, how did we not prepare for that? Like Darnold was like a deer in headlights.
Mhm.
The pressure was so heavy. So
Everything that could have went wrong this game.
yeah, and
That's
we
what it really felt like.
created no run game. Our run game was nothing, and we have to have that balance. So
I feel like this changes everything for Sam Darnold. I feel like if he won, he'd be a guaranteed sign, $50 million a year guy. And now he lost, he might not even come back. What's your feeling on him?
I don't think even if he won, he's still a $50 million a year quarterback. I think, yeah, he had a great year, but I think he still would be a bargain in a sense. I think he'd be in that 30 maybe range, but I don't think he'd be at 50.
Like that
Um,
Baker range, that what Baker's getting,
yeah, potentially that would be more
33.
reasonable. That'd be more reasonable in my mind, but it's going to be interesting because you still can't take away. Like you look at his stats in the whole year, the dude
Had
balled
a
out,
great year,
had a
Pro
great
Bowl
year,
year.
and so you know, Brian Flores, our defense had a hell of a year, right? But his defensive scheme also puts you in position to give up a lot of points too, or big plays. Because when you're bringing the house, something at some time is going to get there's something's just going to give, right? And it's showing when you got teams that are deep in the receiving department. It's tough when you're bringing the house. You can't Puka Nacua can't be one on one. Like that guy's an animal. Cooper Cup was non-existent, but he makes that one big catch. He made a huge catch.
Yeah.
It was like a third down or something like that. But and that was just a crazy pass too. But it's tough, man. I don't know. There's just so much. There's just so deep with it. But like Bernard, Van Ginkel, those top, both of them are in the top, but six in sacks
Yeah.
this year.
hmm
Crazy the year they had. So it's bright.
Even Harrison Smith might not come back, right? He might retire, right?
That's what they're saying. The possibility of retiring. I'd like to get one
Hit
more
man.
year.
Hey man, Harry, shout
Yes,
out
sir.
James. Connor, what did you think about this game?
And you know me, I'm Sam Darnold's my boy. I had a lot of faith in Darnold since he was with us, and but I could have told you this game was coming. Like I've seen it too many times. You get pressure in his face, and he just kind of like has a short circuit. He just doesn't know what to do, and that's where the whole seeing ghost game came from. Is because there was so much. Belichick was dialing up so much pressure that he was just fucking closing his eyes and just throwing it somewhere. And I know he didn't have the turnovers in this game like he did, in those ones, but you could tell like he was just a tick off. He was a beat off, and it kind of threw everything else off too. But can't I mean the guy had had a standout year. He's gonna be the comeback player of the year. Like he's a stud. He'll get a big contract somewhere. I don't know if McCarthy's gonna be ready for next year or they're gonna just hand it over to him after Darnold going and having that year that he did. But shout out to Sam Darnold, man.
For real.
Yeah.
For
Maybe
sure.
Sam Darnold should be like a paranormal activity expert if he's seen so many damn ghosts.
Yeah, that day, I feel like you saw everything.
But all right, I got a question for you, Vikings fan. Why, since this loss has happened, why do people have the impression that McCarthy's gonna copy what Darnold just did?
I I don't think there's an impression that McCarthy would copy it. I think the only thing you can only base it off of is he had a pretty decent preseason before he got
He
injured.
looked good. He looked good in
He
those
he
preseason
showed
games.
he showed
Skylar
signs
Thompson
of
did too.
yeah, he showed signs of he seems to have it a little bit, but then it was too early still, you know. But he looked bright, he looked decent, and then unfortunate, you know.
What would you do? What would you do though? Like, would you
Me,
keep Darnold one more year, bench McCarthy one more year, or
yeah,
what?
I mean, yeah, that's a tough question to actually answer because obviously the what are other people going to offer Darnold? I personally would be a little skeptical on the length of terms with Darnold, but I would still like to maybe have McCarthy sit one more year.
He's a free agent though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1 year deal.
we
Oh fuck.
1 year, 10 million. So I would still like to have McCarthy sit 1 year personally, coming off that injury, because
Right.
also his knee injury is pretty significant. Like he had a few setbacks too.
Oh
So like
wow.
Oh,
it's not one of those where it was just an easy fix. Like it was a pretty, I guess it was a pretty in depth knee tear. If you could get Darnold on a 2 or 3 year dealer, you know that's in the 20 to 30 range. I say you pull the trigger and do that. Sit McCarthy 1 more year because, as we talked about earlier, you need a backup in this league.
for
Now,
sure.
the kicker, because then what would happen is okay, you can maybe possibly trade Darnold. You know, if he's in that 20 million range, it's not going to completely kill you. But the kicker here that I'm going to be very anxious to see what happens is where's Daniel Jones going to go, and what kind of money is he going to draw because he could be that backup you sign.
Okay.
Because I think Daniel Jones with the right person might have something. So
Interesting.
if you can get Daniel Jones on a 2 to 3 year deal, 10, 15, Darnold's going to be 30 to 40. I think you got to possibly go with JJ and have Daniel as your backup or see how that
Really
plays
all
out.
depends on what other teams are gonna throw at Darnold, what he's
Hmm.
gonna do.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's
But
the way I
yeah,
kind of feel.
I like what McCarthy did in the preseason, and I think he's just part of this special QB class. I think this is just one of those classes, so I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Anything y'all gotta
Hopefully
add about Wildcard Weekend?
it was terrible. I'm just,
Hey,
I'm
I
just
think,
at
joking.
least you were there. I mean, we didn't even get invited.
hey, nah, man, it was sad. It was sad to see. I think Sam Darnold, he at least deserved to go as far as Case Keenum did.
Yeah, for real,
Because it
dude.
did
Come
feel like
on.
one of those special years, one of those special nobody saw it coming years.
Yeah.
So still a very successful, great overall year. But I think we got to look ahead a little bit, Tyler.
Yeah, I got one more question for Connor and James because they follow more college football than us. I just have one question. I know y'all saw that Carson Beck is committed to Miami. Do you think he's going to be a better quarterback than he was on Georgia in Miami?
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's another guy that does have the talent, but he's coming off a pretty good injury too. But I think if you compare it to Cam Ward, like there's such like, and with
Nah, he not Cam
Restrepo,
Ward.
yeah, with
No, no.
Restrepo, the receiver, like they had a really good team. I feel like I feel like these guys are prototypical pro quarterbacks, but I mean, I feel like he kind of didn't look as good as we all thought he would be. Like he had a pretty good year, obviously, but I think they're expecting a little bit more out of him, and especially with that kind of injury, I don't know if he's going to be as solid or as ready to go as he was last year.
Okay.
This is an interesting one for me because it's a huge transfer, right? 4 million. He's getting 4 million to come down here to play. His girlfriend goes to school at the University of Miami. She's an Instagram model. She plays basketball. She's one of those
Yeah,
Cavs.
Oh
shout
shit.
out the Cavender twins, baby.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
he got one of them.
yeah, yeah. So he's going to be distracted while he's here.
Oh my
And
God, so many
and
distractions.
and my thing is
UM
does
campus.
yes, sir. Does he have the potential? Yeah, I think so. But I also think what Connor said, like I thought he was talked as top three quarterback coming out of college this year in the NFL draft, and his stock just kept falling and falling and falling, and it's like you're kind of like, uh oh, Like, is this guy like pretend? But you know, I think it's a hell of an upgrade for Miami from what they have losing Cam Ward for the potential, of what they might be able to do with him. But classic Miami hype, though. Everybody's take them to the promised land until they don't. We'll see what happens. With Mario Cristobal there, because I don't know. I feel like he's on a hot seat too.
All right. All right. What were you saying, Dixon? Going into looking into the future?
I would say we gotta look into the future, man. I think we got a Super Bowl level battle up ahead in Buffalo. Who y'all got, man? I need to freaking know. You know I'm
Buffalo and
going
Baltimore.
You know I'm going Broward, Lamar Jackson. I can't not, like, it's just in my blood, but y'all gotta let me know who you thinking. Not all at once. Tyler, go.
No, I'm just gonna repeat what you said, Bryce. It's LJ. The team is a lot better than Buffalo. I mean, you
They
put
whooped them up in the regular season,
yeah. I mean,
week 4.
I don't want to sound too much as like a Bills hater, but it's just they're a better team, and when they met before, they're both better. But I just think
I
Baltimore's just
think
way
the Bills
better.
got
Both
a little bit of that Cinderella
they
shit
have a
going
little bit
on
of the
too. A
magic,
little
but
bit of that fraudulent shit going on too. Like the Superman shit when he ends up fighting one of these crazy ass supervillains. If he just brings some kryptonite, he might be done for.
I don't see this being anything other than a battle till at least
Oh,
the fourth quarter.
it's gonna be a classic.
This could be the best game of the year. This could be better than the Super Bowl, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. Usually, when you have expectations that high, it's not, but it could be. Connor, what you think?
Yeah, dude, I don't know what you guys are smoking, but Jesus,
Oh my
the Bills are
God,
gonna
bro.
destroy the Ravens.
No,
I don't
he
know how to
said
tell you this.
destroy.
He
It's
said
not gonna be a
destroy.
good game. It won't be as good as you
Oh,
think. You guys are talking about a week 4 win when Josh Allen wasn't even Josh Allen yet. We were all still like, oh yeah, well look what happened. The receivers are trash. James Cook isn't good yet. Da 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 da. There's no way that Josh Allen loses this football game.
he's
Put
losing,
a
buddy.
stamp on it. Put a stamp on it. Gaffney guarantee. It's not happening.
You've been holding on to that one.
Give me the Bills, and it's gonna they'll win by at least 13.
Oh my
Wow.
God, bro.
Whoa, that's a big wow.
Put it on,
All
man.
righty,
Don't forget this.
here we go. Yeah, write that down. 13.
13, all right there.
I'm gonna go on the Hard Rock app and see what the line's at. So, man, I'll tell you what. This is like a mini Super Bowl. You're right. This is going to be probably one of the better games, but I think Connor's onto something. I think Baltimore is the better team and maybe a little deeper. But what's the temperature and what is the weather going to be like in Buffalo for this one?
Huge factor.
Because this
Baltimore's
is a
cold right now. It's 20
this
degrees right now.
But that
but
Buffalo get different,
but
bro.
Buffalo cold is different than Baltimore cold, man. Coming off that lake, coming up like Josh Allen, he excels in in these cold games, and if it's bad weather, like he's like a Derrick Henry running down the field. Like if he's running, he's not one of those quarterbacks you want to smoke. Like he's going to smoke you. But this one's going to come down to Derrick Henry, I think.
Hey, I'm gonna need a fucking monster game from Derrick Henry.
If it doesn't, I think Buffalo's got this. But if Henry goes off, then I think it's
I'm
Baltimore
gonna
out there.
need the
But
shiesty mask on Lamar. We're gonna need to have another game like we just had, over 150 rushing yards between both of them for sure.
I
but
hear what
I,
y'all
I
are,
I'm giving the nod to Buffalo though.
I hear what y'all are saying, but Buffalo's one weakness is what? Run defense. What's the
I just feel like they didn't really play
what
anyone
did
that
Baltimore just do? 299 on the ground.
Hmm.
I
it should be
mean,
a good one. I feel like Buffalo
What's
hasn't really beat that much like
what's the
crazy teams
what's the
this year.
weather gonna be like? Because if it's snowing and it's ice skates out there, run game's a little different.
all
You,
I know is supposed to snow here sometime next week. That's not Saturday or Sunday.
The whole country's like half the country's in like a cold front.
Yeah. Bro, right
Even
now
getting a little chilly down here.
I'm in my garage right now and it's 20 degrees outside. So I hear you. It's cold as
It's like 65 over here. This is dumb cold.
fuck. Anything y'all got left on wild card and or I
Wait,
mean,
hold
sorry.
on. That's okay. That was one of the games.
Okay, yeah,
Chiefs,
go through the game.
Texans. Chiefs, Texans. I think we could all agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the Texans defense, if they show up, they might. There's a chance. There's a chance we
Connor,
could see
should I get in
something.
my conspiracy bag or not? Be a smart.
Just let's get to the next one. I think that the
yeah.
Chiefs wrap
Dixon, we
this
gotta
up
we gotta
quick.
turn it off at some point.
No, I agree. I agree. I agree. We
The
got
refs
who?
for the
We got
win.
Detroit versus the Commanders.
That's another one.
That's another one, but
I think Detroit gonna do their thing. I don't
I
think
think
there's
Detroit.
no need to play with this too much. I think this is about as far as the historic rookie campaign goes for Jalen Daniels, but it's big dog time.
Commanders front 5 to 7 are nasty though. If they can contain the run, it's a different ball game.
Well,
Hopefully, Lions get
Montgomery
Montgomery.
was a
Yeah,
full
Montgomery.
he's a full practice this week.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. They had like a walkthrough, and he said he would have been a full. Which I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah, what the
Because
Crazy.
fuck?
I don't know what that you talk about conspiracy.
He went to
He
Germany.
saw he went to no, he went to A-Rod's guy.
He went
Come
to
Yeah,
on
Doctor
now.
Elatrosh, man. He took care of him,
Come
man.
on now.
yeah. Put that green ooze. Yeah, put that shit in my knee. I'm good.
He's fine. So
But
it's
yeah,
gonna
no,
be yeah, it'll be a good
I
game.
think Detroit should take care of business there.
Yeah.
And then who else we got?
Eagle, Eagles and
Eagles Rams.
Eagles
Eagles
Rams.
versus the Rams. Okay. This might be
Eagles
the
are going to
second
walk all
best
over
game.
them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those classic games where the Rams beat the Vikings when they should have never have, and they're going to go into the next game and get their ass whooped. Watch Matthew Stafford look like a washed up veteran again. You know, he gets
Connor
that one
needs
good.
J- James needs that for vengeance on the Vikings. Come on, Eagles. But I think the Eagles got that. But hey, I don't know. I'm the type of person, anytime Sean McVay gets in the playoffs, I'm dead scared.
He's a wild
Like,
boy.
yeah, he's a wild boy. And in the playoffs, he goes crazy. So that's one person I'm dead scared of. Him and Stafford, they're dangerous, but I think this will be a close one.
Connor, who you got?
I think the Rams. I like the Rams in that game. I think that Hurts is another guy. Like if you can get in his face and take him down, becomes less and less of a threat. And coming off that weird game that he had, I don't know the Rams defense overall is pretty good. And I think that the Eagles pass defense is good, but I feel like the Cooper Cup's gonna have one of those games where he's gonna have like 10 for 177 and 2 touchdowns, like those random like pop up games that he has. And then Kyron Williams, Notre Dame product. Shout out to
Oh,
Notre
such a
Dame,
beast.
and just
Golly.
a touchdown machine. And I think that if he can get going on the ground, because he hasn't been that great on the ground recently, that I got the Rams in this one for sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wow. That yeah.
No, I think that Rams offense is pretty damn near unstoppable. I think you have to score to keep up.
Yeah, Philly has to control the ball big time in this game too.
Gotta go Saquon heavy again. Wait, actually, fuck all that. Jalen Hurts. Let's show these boys what we about. Come on. I need over 200 in
Can't
the
drop 30 in
air.
the first quarter. Yeah,
Let's
first
get
time.
2 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Come on. Playing around too much.
That sounds like a
AJ
dub.
Brown, put down the book, fam. We know you're not reading that shit. Doing. Man, I opened up to page 60 and started skimming.
He said,
Speed reader.
you ever seen that meme where the guy's reading the book, he goes, "Blah!" And he read the book in a
He
second.
did the LeBron thing.
Yeah, where it says where the wife says to the husband, as soon as you're done reading the book to the kids, I'll be waiting for you in the bedroom. He blah, 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 and then
Go through that book real quick.
Y'all got anything left on the NFL?
Nah, man, that's it. It's been fun. It's gonna get even crazier.
Yeah, yo, you know that one of these games is gonna be fucking. We're gonna scratch our head. I mean, shit. It might be the Commanders game. Can't put it past anything, honestly. We're gonna go to the last segment, deeper in the sports. We just kind of have a off-topic question. What was the time that you were a dick on accident?
Yeah, you go first, bro, please. This is one of the better questions I've ever heard.
All right, so I'll give you the story, and I didn't know in when it happened, I didn't know until a couple hours later when I was talking with my wife because she sent me down there to deal with this. So there was a door-to-door salesman trying to buy, either pest control or Ring camera, or whatever the fuck they got going on, Spectrum, all of that fun stuff. And I was talking to this guy. He was training somebody, so that makes it kind of even worse. He was training somebody, and he was a great salesman. Like, I mean, I've been in sales for over 10 years. I know the tricks and trades.
You could see one, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I know how to read between the lines. I know a lot of the tricks, a lot of the, delusional shit you can throw at people and whatever, right? If I was some just random bozo, I would have bought the biggest package from this guy. He was younger than me, very cool, calm, and collective. Knew his shit, knew his way around a dictionary. We'll say that. Very smooth, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not buying nothing, so let's throw that out the window." But yo, you're a great salesman. You really should get you should get a real sales job. You should get a real sales job. You'll be very successful doing that. Not thinking that was anything bad, but my wife later explained to me that I just shit on his job in front of
Just shit on his career.
shit on his career. Because I mean, if you're in sales and door-to-door sales, like you might have a little bit of commission, but you're an hourly employee.
Oh,
But the way,
he came knocking on your door?
yeah, knock on the door, wifey gets sucked into whatever they're talking about, and then she's either out there for 30 minutes or we got a new coupon book, some shit.
Oh,
So
Lord.
I'm the one that's sent out there and I'll handle it, no problem.
Yeah, did the bad cop work.
And yeah, she just explained to me like, yo, that was fucked up. And I was like,
Yeah, that
damn,
sounds crazy.
like I wish I could see him again just to say my bad. Like I didn't mean it. But I genuinely was like, yo, you should really go out there and like take your talents to South Beach. You feel me?
Yeah.
No
But
sales
yeah,
tax.
that's my story.
For me, bro, first of all, I feel like there's not really any time I've been an asshole on accident because I'm usually a very nice guy. So like when I'm an asshole, it's very deliberate. But one time, I think I went over the limit like way too much. So I was at a museum, right? Typical Dixon type atmosphere. I'm drinking water. Obviously, you can't have drinks or food in the museum. That's basic shit. I I guess I didn't care, right? So I was drinking the water, but I really didn't think nothing much of it. Security guard approaches me like mad rude, almost like I was like sparking up a blunt in there or something. Like, yo, you can't have that. Like, you need to get rid of that. Now I'm like, let me drink it. She's like, oh, in the next room. I'm like, whoa. I was like, yo, first of all, I didn't even see no signs that they says like no drinking water or nothing. There was a sign right in front of me. She's like, look, right there. My dumbass goes, oh, I can't read. She's like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. But then afterwards, that was one of those where I felt like a dick for like 6 hours straight. I'm like, yeah, I should have just said, you know what? I throw it away.
My
Boom.
fault.
But
My fault. Yeah.
the I can't read shit was mad ignorant. And I really try to sell it like, yo, I'm uneducated. Like, I can't read. I don't know what that says type shit.
You had a whole backstory.
Like, I had a whole upbringing. If she asked, like, why can't you read? Like, no, I dead ass can't read. But
I am
that
illiterate.
I dropped out second grade type shit.
I had to help in my family work and shit.
Fuck, bro.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But
Connor,
that
you
was
got a
one of the,
story?
Man, I'm like Dixon, man. I'm pretty upfront with my assholeness, but I mean, going back to our Adidas days, I remember I was having a rough day, and I walked into clothes, and I was closing. You remember them closes 12:30 in the morning, 1 a.m.
Tyler
I'm
knows.
walking out. So I was already pissed off. And Dixon remembers. You remember Idema? Everybody remembers Idema.
Of
OG.
course.
So
Oh
she's like,
no,
what
not Irma,
one
bro.
of our seasonal workers was. She was like, this kid's not doing anything. Da 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 da. And I was like, bro, I haven't even walked. I haven't clocked in. I got my bag on still, and I'm like, bro. I went up to the kid. I was like, what's happening? Oh, my bad, my bad. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I said, listen, man, don't be sorry. Be better. I'm tired of this shit. And I just walked away. And I was like, fuck, I probably shouldn't have done that stuff. And then 2 weeks later, kid was like, I just don't think this is the environment for me. I don't think this is a good spot for me.
Oh
And I was like,
shit.
you know what? You're probably right, man. I don't think this is the job for you. And it was just real simple with it. But I feel like I could have maybe handled that a little bit better because I was
You
like,
felt a
fuck,
little guilty, like, damn, did he
yeah, I
leave
was
because
like,
of
damn,
me?
was it me? And
Right.
You set
it
up
might
It
have.
probably
boundaries,
was
though.
no, it was probably more than just you, but I feel why
I
you
just
would feel that
I
way.
feel like I maybe like pushed them over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, my man. Nah, I know. She could get you stressed. She had you
Oh,
stressed before you even punched in, bro. Like what?
I
One
don't
of
know.
them.
Yep. Shout out Irma, man.
No.
James, what you got?
At first when you hit this, I was like, I don't really have anything off the top of my head other than the fact, I'm Minnesota nice. But but it's funny listening to your stories. A couple of things kind of come to my mind, and it might be a little bit not by accident, but it is kind of by accident because you're so rapid fire. And Tyler, you could probably relate to this. Being in the business with me for a few years. So being in Target, being in Publix, being in Walmarts all the time, like, and then Connor retail, Dixon been in retail, like people today just don't want to look for anything or take any effort to do anything or find anything for themselves. They just want to ask somebody right away. They don't even take the moment to even try to look. Oh, excuse me,
Right.
where can I find this? You didn't even walk it. You didn't barely walked in the store and already look. Ask me, hey, where can I find the soup? Oh, hey, where can I find the wine? So like, I'll be in the store. Like I'm Target. Like if I'm wearing my red Budweiser shirt one day and I happen to be in a Target, I'm like, oh crap, it's the worst day to work red, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
So
think you work at Target.
that shit was
yeah,
deadly.
but
Yeah,
Oh God.
you're
I'll be
fucked.
on my hands and knees putting up, like if I'm down the energy drink aisle or something like that, putting away some of our waters, some of our energy drinks, or I'll even be in the beer aisle putting the Michelob Ultra up in the cooler. Somebody come up, excuse me, where can I find so and so? And like without even turning around, I go aisle five. Okay, they're like, thank you, and they tear off to go to aisle five, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh shit, I better get out of here before they come back because they're probably gonna be coming back and saying, you sent me down aisle five, like what? But people are just that ridiculous.
Oh,
And
you
then
just randomly
You
said a
just
number like it
randomly
was
say
a
yeah,
shit.
you.
just randomly said it now because I'm like, it's just like, come on, I don't even know. Like, what do you mean? Well, where can I find the paper towels? I don't know. Like, I said aisle five, and I didn't even turn around barely. And then afterwards, I'm like, that was kind of a dickish move.
That was fucked
I'm
up.
like, I better hurry and get off
Yeah.
this beer aisle before they come back looking for me. And then like even in Publix, you go down the grocery store specifically, but you look at the top of the aisle, every aisle, they got the sign up top.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
guy comes up to me, he's like, "Excuse me, sir, where can I find the wine?" I look at him, I look up at the signs, I use my index finger, and I go from the one to the second one. I go, "Oh, there it says wine right there. It should be down that aisle." And I'm just like, and then I walked away, you know, thinking like I just did what you could have done. But
Touche.
a little, it's just that's really the things that come to my mind with that. But that was a good question though, Tyler.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all got anything to add to the episode? This was a
Yo,
great episode, y'all. I
hey,
loved it.
for the first 30 minutes, I thought James' background was like one of those Zoom backgrounds.
Oh, bro, I
That's
told you,
actually
he's
a
an ayahuasca
portrait.
tree. Yeah,
Yeah, that's real.
it's real. That's the
That
window
fucked me
outside
up.
his house.
No, that
I,
fucked me up.
I will say, I'm telling you, I almost I'm about to go to the jungle after last night. But Connor, nice meeting you, man.
Yeah,
Good
great meeting you,
talking.
buddy.
And guys, always, dude, it's a pleasure. It's fun. It's awesome. Believe it or not, actually, being on the podcast a month or so back, got some family, some friends back home in Minnesota that are
Oh,
tuning
hell
into your
yeah.
episodes.
Awesome,
So
dude.
so I can shout out to my brother Scott up there. He's in his man cave. Been listening to some episodes and stuff. He's got a couple of his guys on it as well. So
Oh, wow, that's
um,
awesome. Shout out, Scott.
yeah. So they get a kick out of it. They love it. And so this is fun stuff.
Hell yeah. All right, well, Dixon, Connor, James. It's always a pleasure, my boys. And
Appreciate y'all, boys.
yeah, have a great night.
Yeah.
Guys, next time.
Deuces.